Module 5 review sheet for the answer key. So I'll be going over every single problem, so we'll just start with number 1. So, which result is most likely to happen? Cassie rolls a fair number cube, 6 faces, labeled 1 through 6. She rolls a number cube 300 times. Which result is most likely? So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these ones that say exactly. Because in probability, something exactly happening is very unlikely. So, we're looking for about. So this is saying rolling a 1 or a 2 about 50 times. So the probability to roll a 1 out of 2 would be 2 out of 6. And if we roll the cube 300 times, then you would expect this to happen a 100 times. Right? This one, roll an even number, would be 3 out of 6. For 300 times would be 150. So the answer is C. Number 2. Based on the data, the most reasonable prediction of the number of 7th grade students who would choose summer as their favorite season, Letitia randomly selected 25% of the 7th grade students. So it's a percent problem, so we set up a proportion. Okay. Of the 7th grade, all the 7th graders were surveyed. 25 or 51 chose summer as their favorite season. 51 would go on the top, X would go on the bottom. Prediction, you actually get like 204 with this, but you get the one that's closest. All right, this one. Miss Andrews made the line plots, quiz scores for first period class versus second period class, and the question is, what conclusion can be made? First period class had a higher median score than the second period class. No, first period. So if I'm just looking at this, I'm thinking second period did better than first period. So I'm looking for something that says something like that. Okay. Second period class had a higher mean than the first period class. There you go. Okay, moving on to number 4. Closest to the probability that the next customer will pay with cash. 54 customers paid with cash. Okay. So then you add the... I should know this already because we've done this problem a couple times, but... Out of 249, you can see it's not one of your answers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert it to a decimal, in which I get 0.216 in that ballpark. And I'm going to start matching them up. Okay, 1/5 is 0.2, 1/4 is 0.25, 1/3 is 0.33, 1/2 is 0.50. Answer is A. Which statement best supported by the results? So let's take a look. Grade 5 and 6. Take a look. It needs 20 students random each grade. 14 wanted tiger, 6 eagle. 6th grade, 13 tiger, 7 eagle. 7th grade, 8 tiger, 12 eagle. 8th grade, 5 tigers, 15 eagles. The preferred mascot is tiger. Now, the preferred mascot is eagle. 5th and 6th grade students prefer an eagle mascot. 7th and 8th grade students prefer an eagle mascot. Okay, so you can see more 7th and 8th graders wanted the eagle than the 6th graders. All right, test results of Mr. Duffy's class are shown in the plot below. Most of the students in Mrs. Guzman's class scored higher than most of the students in Mr. Duffy's class on the same test. Which line plot could represent that? Okay, so you take a look here. And 75 to 100, look at Miss Guzman's class. This is essentially the same. Actually, it's exactly the same. Can't be lower, lower. Hopefully you could see, just by looking, that D would be it. Because now you got 3 100s versus 2 100s. You know, 4 95s as opposed to 95s. Although this one does have an outlier down there, but that doesn't really make much of a difference in this problem. All right, cereal problem. Based on the data, what's the probability next cereal box of containing a blue or a yellow ring? Well, blue is 15, yellow is 5, that's 20, out of a total of, if you read this carefully at the top, 50, so you didn't really have to add them up. Take the zeros off, 2/5. Okay. Number 8, Sarah's playing a board game. Probability is 1/3. Which statement describes a probability? Well, a third is less than a half, which makes it unlikely. Probability problems go a lot quicker than some problems we've done in the past. All right, another problem that we've seen before. Based on these data, which statement is true about the speeds of motors after the sign was installed? So before the sign, here's your dot plot. After the sign, here's your dot plot. What's missing? Okay, are those two. All right. So here it says the mean speed and the range of the speeds of the motor is decreased. Okay. Well, if you look at what happens here, if you take out these two, then yeah, the average speed is going to decrease. And also look at the range. The range is 20 to 40 on this, 20 to 35 on this. The answer to this is A. Number 10, which event is most likely to occur? For this one, you're going to have to go through each one until you figure it out. Flipping a fair coin, sides labeled heads, tails, coin landing on tails. Probability is 1 out of 2. Choosing a marble out of a bag, 9 blue marbles, 1 red marble, and the marble being red. 1 out of 9 and 1, 10. All right, so far A is winning. Rolling a fair number cube, cube landing on a number that's less than 6, which means it could land on 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, so that would be 5 out of 6. And spinning the arrow on a spinner with 4 equal sectors, landing on a number greater than 1. So that would be a 2, 3, or 4, which would be 3 out of 4. Okay, so hopefully these two would be out because, and then it might come down to these two if you're not quite sure with fractions. So if you put them in the calculator, we know that 0.34 is 0.75, and 5, 6 would be about 0.83. Most likely would be C. Okay. Oh, lost focus. There we go. Total population was 380. Based on the data, the best approximation for the total number of students who have a cell phone plan with company Y. 36 students with company Y out of the 120 that were surveyed. Using a prediction to make using a proportion to make a prediction. Okay, so 36 out of 120, and if we extend it to 380. I don't remember the answer on this one, which means I actually have to do it. Oh, it comes out nice. Well, it doesn't come out nice, but it comes out to be exact. 114. Right. Number 12, longest average commute. Add them up, divide by 5. 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 Okay, and you should get company 1. I wasn't going to go through and add each one of them up. What? Which conclusion can be drawn from the box plots? So these are the box and whisker plots that we just did recently. Okay. Remember, this is your minimum value. This is your first quartile, your median, your second quartile, and your maximum value. The scores on Friday and the scores on Saturday have the same median and same interquartile range. Well, you look, here's the median on this one, here's the median on that one. They're not the same. Scores on Friday have a greater median and a greater interquartile range than the scores on Saturday. Well, the medians are greater, but the interquartile range, remember, that's when you take Q3 minus Q1. So we'll look at the interquartile range for Friday, and you got, let's see, this looks like, I'm guessing these go by, it looks like they go by 5. So I'm going to guess this is 220. 220 minus 200. So that's 20. That's for Friday. And then interquartile range for this one would be 210 minus 180, which would be 30. Okay, so the interquartile range for this one is 5, 10, 15. No, actually it's the same because that's 90. So they're the same. Scores on Friday have a greater interquartile range than the scores on Saturday. Both data sets have the same median. Nope. The scores on Saturday have a greater median score, but they both have the same interquartile range. Okay, good. Okay, number 14. Spinner with 3 regions labeled A, B, C is spun in a fair dice toss. Make a tree diagram and list the sample space for spinning the spinner and rolling a die. So we spin the spinner that has 3 regions, A, B, and C. So we go A, B, C. You could also go, I always like to do mine vertically here. So, and then from A, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're spinning, rolling a die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go. All right, and then listing the sample space, you go A1, then A and 2, A and 3, A and 4, A and 5, A and 6, and so on. All right, so then the question comes, what is the probability you spin a C on the spinner and an odd number on the die? Okay, so this is where we did the compound probabilities, and we have to look at them as 2 separate events. C on the spinner is 1 out of 3. Odd number on the die is 3 out of 6. Multiply the probabilities together. We get 3 out of 18, which is the same as 1 out of 6. Or 0.16, depending on how you want to do that. All right. And to keep this video fairly short, I'm not going to include this problem in because actually we just did this almost this exact same problem before. So this will be one that I would just go over probably before the test. So, Module 5, the review sheet. This is Mr. Sims signing off.